What's going on, guys? Snake Eyes here, playing some more Dark Souls 2, and in this video we're going to be doing a weapon showcase, and the weapon we're going to be showcasing today is the Bone Fist. Now if you don't know how to get this weapon, keep in mind that you need the 3rd DLC Crown of the Ivory King to get it, and then from there all you have to do is travel to the 2nd bonfire and backtrack a little bit. Keep in mind that you're going to need to melt the snow before you can get to it, because snow is actually blocking its path. But then once you do that, you're going to find yourself in a little pathway where you have to light 4 torches, and then once you do that, it's going to uncover a little side area, and in that area the Bone Fist is actually on a corpse. That's pretty much how you get this weapon. Now we're going to go into the details of it. Since I've gotten it, I've upgraded mine to +5, so my base damage is at 20. It has a counter strength of 150, it does 30 poise damage per hit, it has 80 durability, and it weighs 1 pound. The requirements for this weapon is that you need 15 strength and 30 dex, and you get an S scaling in strength and an A scaling in dex. Now this weapon is actually pretty damn awesome. I really do love it. I think it's a pretty unique one. I guess one of the cons that I can think of this weapon is that some of its attacks actually have some really slow recover time. Now if you're fighting against people who are pretty much used to this weapon, you're going to have to keep in mind to try to, I guess, use those attacks sparingly, because they can punish you pretty good. And seeing how some of those attacks are actually one of the more rewarding attacks and also the ones that deal the most damage, you're going to have to learn how to pick and choose your situations on exactly when to use those attacks, because if not, then you're going to get punished for them. But other than that, there's really not much else that's wrong with this weapon. Everything about it is actually kind of unique. One of the things that some people might have, I guess, a little tough time transitioning into is the simple fact that it's not like any of the other fist weapons in the game. Pretty much all the other fist weapons in the game, all you have to do is pretty much spam R1 and you're going to be doing some pretty decent damage, and also you're going to be getting in a whole bunch of hits. This weapon is a lot different than those. You kind of have to time your attacks just a little bit if you want to actually start hitting them. Some of the attacks are actually pretty slow. Actually, most of the attacks are pretty slow, and some of them have some really slow recover time. So you are going to have to, I guess, learn how to time your attacks just a little bit with this weapon. But once you get it down, it's actually really awesome. The moveset on it is actually pretty cool. I read online somewhere that it pretty much has the same, I guess, moves as a character in Tekken. I forgot his name. It was a while since I read that. And that's pretty much the easiest way to summarize this weapon without getting into like a long overdrawn, explanation of it. It's actually really cool. And then when you power stance this weapon, it actually does like the Hadouken from fucking Street Fighter, which is awesome and I really do love. Unfortunately, I didn't power stance this weapon, which kind of sucks, and it kind of made me want to go back and actually start using it power stance to kind of show you guys that move a little bit. But for the most part, I didn't do that, and that's kind of something that if you guys want to do, I definitely recommend, because I've actually fought people who've done it to me, and it does some pretty decent damage. Keep in mind that you don't need 2 bone fists. You can do it with a bone fist in your right hand, and it has to be in your right hand, and another fist weapon in your left. And then also keep in mind that I think it takes 10 durability per blast that it does, and it does 3 blasts in that one attack. So I think pretty much 30 durability every single time you do that attack. It's kind of balancing, and the fact that this weapon has some pretty decent durability means that you can do this attack a couple of times, but you're not really going to do it a whole bunch of times. You're not really going to spam it. One of the things that I found out about this weapon that's actually pretty cool, and some of you guys might actually want to try it, is that when you get summoned in the last area of the DLC, the snowy area where you fight the ice stallions, if you get summoned as a phantom there, they have a chance to drop the Bone Fist, so that's kind of something that you guys might want to try out if you're looking to get another Bone Fist. Initially, I was going to say if you wanted a 2nd Bone Fist, then use this bonfire ascetic on, I think, the 2nd or 1st bonfire. I'm not even really too sure. Since this does drop, or since you can pick this up from a corpse, it is going to respawn. But at the same time, I'm still not even too sure, because I haven't tested it out myself. Maybe they changed something. For the most part, I'm just basing it off of what they usually did. But if you don't want to take that chance, then from what I've been reading, all you have to do is be summoned as a white phantom in that snowy area where you can fight the ice stallions, and they have that chance to drop it. So that might be something that you want to do. If you got a couple friends that you want to play online with, then that's definitely something that y'all might want to arrange and try to see if y'all can get it. Another pro with this weapon is that when you, I guess, two-hand the weapon, pretty much when you just use, I guess it's two-hand. When you two-hand the weapon, Some of the moves on it has a little shockwave that can pretty much stagger your opponent and kind of make a move a little bit slower. That's kind of something that I thought was actually really cool, and it's actually kind of useful from catching people who are either trying to run by you or trying to run away from you. I found myself using that move towards the end of fights, mainly because I wanted to use that little stagger to go ahead and get the next hit in. So that's kind of something that you guys might want to try out, and like I said, for me it was pretty effective. All in all, this weapon, as unique as it is and just pretty much out there, is actually really viable. It's kind of cool to see that they're, I guess, taking a little risk and a little chance in changing it up just a little bit, adding some pretty crazy moves into some of these weapons, and for the simple fact that they're actually viable in PvP is something that's really awesome. One thing though is that even though it does have a base damage of 20, it does have some really nice scaling for strength and dex people, so you're gonna get a pretty decent amount of scaling. And also keep in mind that I'm running a quality character right now. I'm running 40/40 in strength and dex. My attack rating with the Ring of Blades +2 is like barely over 300. Don't let that fool you, because in some of these fights I was actually hitting 600, 700, 800 damage, and that's from some of these slower attacks. But what I had said before, when I meant that they really pay off, even though they're really slow and the recovery time on them is actually really slow, they really do pay off. They deal massive amounts of damage, and like I said, don't be fooled with the low attack rating. These weapons actually hit pretty hard. But for the most part, there's really not much more I can say about this weapon. This weapon is really awesome. I definitely recommend people picking it up just to fool around with it. I noticed that once I got the hang with this weapon, it was actually pretty damn fun. I didn't want to stop using it. Some cases it's kind of frustrating, but for the most part it's always fun. I definitely recommend this for people who are just really looking to fool around and really just want to try something new in this game. And like I said, this weapon is definitely something that I recommend upgrading and trying it out. But like I said, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, take care.